7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Hey everyone, this is Buddy back with another video, and I'm back this week with our Kicks of the Week shoe podcast. So I've actually got 4 shoes-ish to talk about this week, and one of them's already gone. I do have some footage and stuff from the shoe that I can still show you guys, but that I took before I returned them. But that shoe was the Nike Challenger shoe, basically a revamped kind of retro shoe that they're bringing back to today, just to see, I mean, if people wanted it. I did purchase it. I thought it would be a great shoe. Turns out that it's super heavy. It's like a pound on your feet, which is definitely pretty heavy for tennis shoes. That's close to like basketball shoe territory for heaviness. They're not really super light and nimble for the tennis court. Being that clunky didn't really fit with me. It looked pretty nice. I like the design for the most part. It gave that retro kind of feel, and lots of people are liking that look right now, but obviously they're not that great of a tennis shoe to wear because a lot of the people that probably purchased them returned them because the price is already down, I think, like 40% from what they are supposed to retail for. I wouldn't recommend those, guys, if you're looking for a new pair of tennis shoes. And now tennis shoes, I'm talking about playing actual tennis in them. So I'm a big tennis player and I've played for a while. I wouldn't recommend those Nike Challenger shoes. Now going into these, I used to have these Babolat Jets. I used to wear only Babolats for pretty much the majority of my tennis career, just because they're made super well. They've got, if you guys know what the Michelin tire brand is, they have Michelin base soles, very high quality bottom sole to them. They've got a great brand recognition in the tennis world, especially over in Europe. Now, United States, not as much. People kind of want to see the Nike or Adidas logo on their shoes. And these designs are a little bit more European, I would say. They're not as flashy or kind of look at me. You know, they're a little bit different. But I like them. They're usually super comfy and they fit really well. They do, some of them, some models require more of a break-in period than others. The Jets are usually a little bit less just because they're a little bit more of a meshed upper. I used to pretty much have to wear these because they would last me 6 months or longer, and they had a good return policy, so if you did wear out the bottoms and before 6 months, you could return them and get your money back. And so that really appealed to, obviously, my parents who were paying for them. Let's go on to the next shoe I got. So I transitioned this black Babolat shoe to just my clay court shoes, since obviously if you're wearing a white or light colored shoe on clay court, they're gonna get super dirty, but basically a lighter color for hard court. So these Kyries, these shoes are amazing. I love buying these. They're very limited edition. There's only been 3 colorways so far. This is the second colorway. The third colorway is a New York City colorway that sold out pretty fast, and I didn't like it, so I didn't buy it. But the first 2 colorways I've liked and only managed to get this one. And so this kind of resembles the Vapor X's that Nike has in their lineup, basically the ones that Federer wears. Now, Kyrie and Kyrgios, a tennis player, did a collab shoe for this. So it looks like kind of both Kyrie's basketball shoe as well as kind of like that tennis vibe to it from Kyrgios. And I love the look of it. They look super great. People actually think, wow, that guy's wearing some cool shoes on the court, and it draws people's eyes, and I like them. And they're super lightweight. They're around 12.5 ounces right now. I don't know if that's because I've already shaved them down and the bottoms are pretty much almost have a hole in them. I've been wearing them for over 6 months, and so I needed a new pair. Going on to the next pair, we have these Nike Vapor X's, the Flyknit version of them. So Federer wears the just regular Vapor X's, and so I decided, okay, well maybe the Flyknit will be a little bit more lighter, easier, not as much of a break-in period and things like that, so I decided to try these. Now these are pretty nice. They're actually, I mean, as close as you can kind of get to right now in stores a good looking tennis shoe. I would call them mids. They're actually higher. They have a great support in the back and for that heel, and as well as a little bit to the top of the foot, which that's what I was looking for with a new tennis shoe. I like that feel that the Kyries gave me, so I kind of wanted something similar, and these things do it. The sock interior feel is nice. It's kind of a pain to put on, but it does hold your foot pretty nice and snug, although that toe box is giant, actually. And I don't mean the side toe box for like the side of your foot being wide. I mean the top of it is just enormously spacey. Like, it's so weird because you think, I have so much extra room I could probably grow into these. but you kind of don't. So I don't know, it's a weird kind of thing. But anyways, so they went with some really funky and cool looking triangles, rubber triangles on the top, to basically avoid holes when you're dragging your feet out there, because you'll drag a lot with your toes and the side of your foot, and so this tries to prevent holes in them. Now this big patch of triangles on the side is a bit rigid, and you can feel it a little bit at first. That's why it needs a little bit of a break-in period. That kind of irritated me. But now that I've played with it for a couple weeks, I'm getting into it and I don't really notice the shoes as much. Now they are a bit thicker on the Flyknit than I was expecting. It seems like 2 Flyknits almost together, which I kind of wonder why they went with that. I feel like it added a little bit more weight because these are, I think, 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces heavier than these Kyries and Babolat. These two, the Kyries and the Babolats, weigh about the same, and these come in a little bit heavier. I like the design choices. I like how it's clear plastic over on the outside, and then it transitions from in the back to a white inside. Pretty neat indeed. And then the big Vapor X logo on the back. Now the soles are really interesting because I think the Kyries have the exact same soles, although I feel like this sole's more pronounced even than these. Because these, the Vapor X's, have their sole slightly angled in towards the interior of the foot. The outside of the foot is a little bit raised. So when you're stepping on the court or stepping with these, you feel the outside of your foot hit first and then it hit the inside because it's a little bit off center. Now when you're walking around just normally, you can start to notice that, and it's kind of weird. It's a really weird feeling. But when you're playing tennis, that's exactly how you're almost playing tennis. You always kind of have the pressure on the inside of the ball of your foot. You're pushing outward with your force to kind of stabilize yourself, so you don't notice it all when you're playing tennis. Or at least I haven't noticed it at all, and it's perfectly natural. It's really interesting that I decided to do this, but also I think after a while of playing like with these Kyries, you're gonna sand down the side anyways, so it really doesn't matter. And I tend to burn through the interior of the sole rather than the exterior. And now we have a special guest segment with Goober.
Yes, thank you for having me on here, buddy.
Thank you.
I love the show. I watch every week. 10:15 on Fridays with 10:15 episodes.
Today we have tennis shoes, and I know you have dabbled in the tennis arts before. And
sure. And one thing I've noticed is that unlike any other sport, the shoe wear is completely ugly. Well, maybe bowling. Maybe bowling can throw a good competitor to tennis. Because basketball fly shoes out there, and pretty much the rest are cleats or skates. Look at this piece of garbage right here. Great shoe for playing tennis in, but it just doesn't look good at all. The other 2 shoes Buddy had picked out, and are probably some of the nicest pairs of tennis shoes I've ever seen. They both look very nice. For tennis shoes, that is. You'd never catch me walking around in these shoes just on a normal basis, like you'd catch me walking around in basketball shoes. In general, these are nice for tennis shoes, wouldn't wear it. These wouldn't get the colorway, but I'm guessing there's other colors that I'd probably wear.
These are super limited too. You can't even get these anymore either. A lot of people don't like the looks of the Babolats. They last a long time and they're high quality made, but
I want my mind to be changed. That's all I can say. And Buddy is slowly changing my mind each and every day with the shoes he brings home for tennis. Growing up, they were horrible, but like 2 out of the 3 on here, not bad looking. I really like the triangle design. Yeah. It's kind of newer, kind of fresher, different. You don't see it on many shoes. You know, I like it. Buddy has good taste in shoes, guys. You should listen to this podcast, watch the podcast, because Buddy knows what he's talking about.
Thank you.
He's got good taste. And you already feel nervous.
Basically, I think that tennis shoes are getting a little bit more fashionable. I've looked at some other ones from, like, say, Asics that Djokovic has that look pretty decent, kind of similar to these, although just a little bit off that you kind of know that's a big tennis shoe. The Kyries are the first ones that I thought, you can't tell these are a tennis shoe, and I hope they make more tennis shoes like this. That's a big win for me. Remember, guys, if you guys like these episodes, make sure to hit the like button and let me know what you guys want to see down in the comments below. And I know this probably was a different episode. A lot of people probably aren't going to be watching about tennis shoes, but we got a bunch of other episodes for the following weeks. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure if that big red subscribe button isn't grayed out down below and the bell icon isn't hit, to do that so you guys can stay updated with all of our future videos. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.